Okay, so I've been meaning to talk about this topic for I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time, and finally got around to doing it. I want to talk about boosting. I want to give you some insight as to why people don't like you boosting, why people may be opposed to you boosting in an MMORPG like Final Fantasy XIV. We're going to specifically talk about Final Fantasy XIV because it's become a hot topic now. I've been meaning to talk about this before it became a hot topic, but now that it is a hot topic, I kind of have to talk about it. I did a video talking about Quinn and how he boosted, and we saw some of the challenges he went through. I'll just leave it at that. We saw some of the challenges, and you know, they weren't good things. So as a Final Fantasy XIV player who's played since 1.0, we've seen a lot. We've heard a lot of people, we've talked to a lot of people, we've tried to convince a lot of people, we've been evangelizing the game for years. We've seen people come and go. Friends, family members, friends of friends, online friends, whatever. And we try to get you to play the game. We want you to stay. We don't want you to go. We want you to stay and play our favorite game. Okay, we don't want you to go. When we tell you that we don't want you to boost, it's not because we're gatekeeping or we think you should play the game the way we play. It's just that we have seen people leave the game after boosting. Let me explain. Okay, gamers are they're pretty much impatient. Gamers are impatient creatures. We want the gratification a lot faster than it usually takes, unless we're really enthralled into the game. And we gradually get that gratification over time and it becomes really, really fulfilling. We want the instant gratification. So a lot of times we just skip. You know, some people cheat, some people buy boosts, some people get power level. They just want to skip to the instant gratification. And sometimes that's okay. People are okay with that. They're fine with that situation. They're fine with that degree of gameplay. And then others, they just quit or they lose interest really, really fast. When we say we don't want you to boost in Final Fantasy XIV, we're not just doing it because of the story. It's a big, big misconception. And I talk about this all the time on my stream and some of my videos I've mentioned it. The game is a lot more than the story. We don't care really if you skip the story. We just don't want you to quit. And I'm talking about subset players now. Some people out there really, really think you should, they really protect the story. I'm not going to say they don't. But there's much more game out there than the story. The story enhances it. The story is great, but it's just one small part of it. We don't want you to leave. And when you skip and when you boost past the 1 through 70, you lose things like nuances of the game, like how to adjust the settings, because the settings dialogues are awful. How to adjust the UI. The UI adjustment stuff is kind of quirky. It's not all that intuitive. The aesthetics of the game, the differences between the game you may have played, like snapshotting and just how weaving works and how off global cooldowns and global cooldowns works. What's a limit break? You know, all these types of things that you learn over time, right? 70 levels, 2 expansions, 1 base game worth of content you have squished into now, okay? So all of that experience that we've got from playing from 1 to 70, you've now got to learn like that. Now, I know you think you are the best gamer on the planet. I know you think you're all that. You got it. I will learn this. I will get this done. But a lot of boosted players leave because they can't handle all that information dump. And it's not fun. The game wasn't really designed to be played this way, to have all that stuff, have to learn all that stuff in such a short amount of time. And it becomes a classroom situation rather than a game. It's not a fun situation. It's not fun anymore. So you leave. It's not really gatekeeping. It's just evidence. We've seen so many players just up and leave because they can't handle all that information. And like I said, it's not just a story. We don't, I don't care if you skip. I just don't want to hear it when you don't know how to do something, because you gotta learn all that stuff in a short amount of time. So don't think when somebody tells you not to boost, don't think that they're trying to control you. Okay, don't think that they're trying to manipulate you to play the game that you play the game. Just think of them as trying to keep you in the game. They don't want you to leave because they've seen countless others leave. People that probably would have enjoyed the game if they didn't boost, but here we are. They were impatient, and now they're in a situation where they're frustrated and they just rather deal with the game that they were already playing than play this game. Now, I'm going to end with this. It's like there's a degree of arrogance that once it gets checked, it just destroys your interest. Because a lot of these hardcore people out there, they think they just like, all right, I'm all that. I can do this. This is easy game. That gets checked, and it's like all of a sudden they got all this stuff dumped on them. They can't figure it out. They start losing, they start wiping, they start making all these mistakes, and then they start talking trash about the game. And that's when all the people from the community really take exception. If you boost and talk trash about the game, you know, and you've only been playing like a few days or a couple of weeks, you kind of did that to yourself. So you really can't blame the game for you rushing through that experience and you can't pick it up fast enough. That's you. That's all you. And there's an exception. There's a subset of players that have boosted and they're still playing today. Bravo. You guys are the unicorns. I'm serious. You are not a dime a dozen. It's possible, but not a lot of players have the confidence and the willpower and the support of friends to do that. So if you decide to boost, just keep that in mind. You got a lot to learn in a short amount of time. Are you willing to do that? That's all I gotta say about it. Y'all have fun.